What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of All
Lean
Things
with it,
Super.
rock with it. Lean with it.
I am one of your hosts, Spider, and I am joined by Mr. VIP, Frankie Washington. How are you doing today, sir?
I am awesome. Thank you for asking. Tell me what's really going on.
The stark departure from last week when you're just like all into the microphone saying you're awesome. You pulled it back a little bit.
I should have whispered it. I should have been like,
You could have. You can say that for next week.
I'm gonna do a Dog Vader version and just say, oh, I'm working on it. It's not ready yet.
Our Kenobi episode is next week, though. So
you know what? I'm not gonna give no spoilers away right now for that, but y'all might want to tune in for that one because I think I got some shit to say.
You heard it here first. But
well,
stay here for this one, and then come back next week for that one.
Where else would they have heard it?
They could have heard it anyway.
You said it here first. Look. Truly, you're getting it from the source.
Exactly.
Do your thing, Spider. Do your thing, sir. I'm sorry.
It's all good.
Lean with it. Rock with it. Lean with it. Rock with it. Tell me.
If you didn't know, this is All Things Super, where every week we take a piece of super-powered TV, movie, trailer, we react to it, we rewatch it, we review it, we break it down, and we bring it all to you and answer the question, is it super?
I almost lost my headphones on that one.
But if you like that, you can go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Remember, hit that notification bell so you can be notified when we come out with new episodes. You can follow us on Twitter at ATSuperPod. And if you want the audio version, you can find us on every major podcast streaming service.
It's hard not to find us. We're there.
We are there. If you can't find us, I mean, you're not looking.
We might be in your house. In like, you know,
I ain't say all of that. Just pop up behind your couch. What you watching?
Is
it super? Why are you watching it? It's not super. That's not super. Did you hear our episode? That's not super. Why are you watching it?
Yeah, take that shit off.
But this week we are reviewing season 4 of HBO Max's. Now it's on HBO Max. It's been on 3 different networks at this point. But HBO Max is...
Hey. Don't do that. HBO Max is where it's at.
It's where it's at currently, yeah.
Thank God for the executives at HBO Max that stepped up and said, you know what? Let's just bring these bad boys home. And gave it a home because I'm sick of this show being canceled and rebooted.
I am too. But if you don't know what show we're talking about season 4 of Young Justice Phantoms. That's what we're going to be talking about this week. But before we even get into the show, I'm absolutely tired of it being canceled because it started on Cartoon Network. Great show. Absolutely phenomenal. It filled the gap of where Teen Titans left us. Because the original Teen Titans was an animated show kind of geared towards older kids, younger adults, because it had some deeper, darker themes to follow. Yes. But then it still threw in the kind of wacky, crazy hijinks type stuff in it as well. So it was like a nice combination, a nice mix of both. Then Teen Titans ended up getting canceled because I feel like they didn't really end it, but it ended up getting canceled and they brought it back with Teen Titans Go, which was more geared towards younger children.
I'm not gonna say it. I was about to say go, what you were thinking is what I was about to say.
Right.
Go.
And then we got Young Justice, which kind of brought back the more mature animation style, the more mature themes, and started on Cartoon Network, got canceled off Cartoon Network.
For no goddamn reason.
For no reason. Well, I'm sure they had some reasons. It's some stupid reason. It was some stupid reason.
That's right.
But
it's like I have a hit show. Cancel that shit.
Right.
Okay.
And then Warner Brothers created their own DC platform called DC Universe. It was supposed to be all DC content streaming on one streaming platform.
The technical difficulties that we're having on All Things Super is now being sponsored by Mr. VIP Frankie Washington Juice. I need to get juice right here. Oh, we're back.
But DC Universe came and went. That I don't. Let's break for a second and let's kind of talk as to why do we think that DC Universe didn't work as a streaming platform? Because we have Netflix, we have. I want to say Disney Plus was about to come out, or if Disney Plus hadn't already come out at that point. We have Hulu, NBC and Peacock, Paramount Plus, and all of these other different platforms and all these different streaming services and everything. Why didn't DC Universe work out?
Like any, and somebody go come for me, and it's okay if you do, because I welcome the come and conversation. Pause. Yeah, I heard it. I have to own it. I said it. Yeah, I feel like I need to take a shower, but I think honestly, like Marvel, you kind of need a parent company to take ownership so you can have those errors to fail, if that makes sense. Because let's not sit here and act like they did not have some L's on Team Marvel. Eternals would be one. They're not looking at that as a success, which makes no sense because you have a star-studded cast, you have an award-winning director.
Mm-hmm.
You were going for something that just needed a little more development. Now, I'm just picking the Eternals out of random, just off the top of my head, but for DC, as far as their cinematic universe, you have all L's with the exception of Shazam. I'm sorry. You might have the Man of Steel, and I'll say that. You have Nolan's iconic trilogy. Mm-hmm. It has its hangups, but there are very few. They didn't have enough to carry themselves. And there was not enough, in my opinion, properties to look forward to carrying the load of a DC streaming service by itself. Mm-hmm. So the best thing that they could possibly have done was partner with HBO.
Right.
I think it's a great partnership. I love the fact that they brought Young Justice back. Great show. Is it super? I gotta wait to the end of the show to get that answer. Or we could spoil it now, but then would you stay? Would you stay for us? Would you stay for just me and Spider? That's the question. Goddamn right you gonna stay. Listen, this show is super. This show is super, obviously, because we're talking about it, but that's not to say that we don't talk about some things that's not super. This show is it. And I was talking to Spider earlier. I was saying it's going to be hard for me not to talk about season 1, 2, and 3 because all of it is a win.
Right.
All of it combines into the superness of it because we have the best parts of DC in these shows. You have characters that you know. You have characters that you don't know. They're expanding their universe.
Ooh, they're expanding.
Yes. And it's such a good storyline. Here's what they don't understand. This is why Justice League or Justice League United or just all the iterations.
Justice League Unlimited. Mm-hmm.
That's the one I was talking about. Stands out. And this kind of is in that same vein. It's kind of like they merged the two because we care about the heroes, but we also care about the heroes' personal lives.
Right.
So when we start getting into the personal lives, what do they do outside of just saving the day is where the story is. This does that so well. I'm like, I might be able to do this show without spoiling the episode for anybody who have to.
I knew that wasn't going to last. I knew that wasn't going to last.
This is your spoiler warning, just in case I happen to spoil something for you, because I care about y'all.
It's going to happen.
I care about the people, and I don't want to spoil it for those who don't want it spoiled. But you know, when you come on this show, you get what you get. You know, I'm gonna read the script on this unscripted show. So it is what it is. But this show, Young Justice, Phenoms, they know what they're doing. You get Superboy, Superman, Batman, Nightwing. I believe that at some point in time there was Damian in there. Damian Wayne. You get Zatanna. You get Forger. You get. Listen, if you haven't watched this, for anyone that's saying, "Oh, that's an animation," I don't kill yourself. The story is not in really. The animation. No, not really. But take a nap. You're tired.
There you go.
You're just.
There you go.
You're frustrated.
Eat a Snickers. You're not you when you're hungry.
Right. I was thinking something else when you said Snickers, but I thought you were going to say. Okay, so moving on. So it had nuts, but I was thinking that
wasn't where I was going with it, but I do understand your point.
Spider told y'all to eat it. So watch the show, but watch it from season 1. Season 1 is where you need to start because it's a continual storyline. Mm-hmm. And somewhere along the line, somebody got smart and started to plug all the plot holes that potentially could have been in the story, which they didn't have any. You know what I love about this? And I'm going to answer the question if it's super or not. I actually answered it already.
I was you already did answer.
Yeah, what you know me. The post credits.
Yes.
The post credits gives you, these are not MCU post credit scenes. They give you so much more in such a little time to give you a more overall story narrative to understand the complexity of the shit that they're going through. If I could say that and have that make sense.
And I like the way that they've done it. So for anyone who has seen Young Justice Phantoms and you stayed for the post credits, you can tell that they had more things that they wanted to say. It's additional information that they wanted to come across for the show or the episode that they just kind of couldn't fit in. So it was like, right. Okay, so at the saving animation budget, right? We can just get a still image. Like, well, maybe not a still image, but minimal movement. Right, you just have two characters maybe standing, kind of facing away from the screen, or not even characters facing the screen. I know one of the episodes they just had the statue on the what's the name of the place? Where the New Gods, where they reside. I forget the name of their planet, but it was just a statue, and you had the characters. You just hear the characters' voices, and it's just that extra information that you get, that extra beat, that extra little tidbit of information that it's extra, but it's still vital. It still gives you that information. It's still relatable. It still fits in with the episode, and I love the way that they did that. And it's like. We stay for those Marvel post-credit scenes, DC post-credit scenes, and you get excited because it alludes to something that's going to be happening in the future. Right. This is just, it's exciting in Young Justice because it gives you just that much more information. It's like, I didn't want this episode to be over yet, but I get a little bit more. I get to hear a little bit more about this person's life. I get to hear a little bit more about this person's struggle. It's just so much just to be enjoyed in that moment. Was like, it's more for me to grab onto because now I get to see that insight into what this person is thinking or what this person is going through.
One thing I'll say that stands out at the top of my mind when they had Superman talking to Lois Lane about their, not going to spoil it for you, but he was like, he did what? I'm on my way. And he goes home. So you're not expecting this, especially because I don't even think on that episode he was in the show.
He wasn't.
To get that conversation that he's having, that like a real conversation you would have with your wife about, again, I'm not going to ruin it. And he's like on his way, and it's nothing. It's nothing, but it gives you more in-depth idea about what's going on in that world. They know what they're doing.
Right.
And it's clear to see that if DC would just unleash the rings of the cinematic universe to these talented animated storytellers and directors that they could have the same, if not better, dealings as the MCU.
Right.
Because between Justice League Unlimited, Young Justice, Justice League Phenoms, how they opened up not only just the storyline, but started to adapt to different cultures, it's no different than what they're doing over there in the MCU. And they're doing it at a phenomenal level. It's just unfortunate that they're not able to share it amongst the masses.
Right.
Like, fear not, DC. Spider and Mr. VIP, Frankie Washington will stand up and fight for you and tell you, y'all need to go watch this show. Season 1, 2, 3, and 4 before the new 5th season comes out.
Right.
So you can be caught up, because there's a lot going on and you have no idea what the hell we're talking about.
So listen, we gave the spoiler warning. Wait. No. There you go. Now we officially got it. We officially got it. Because I feel like we can't talk about the show. We can't talk about the season as a whole and still try to dance around details.
I did pretty good.
You did, but I feel like we can't go in depth without giving out details about different episodes, and especially about some things that we like about the show. But so
well, you know how we do. We try to give like a little prologue,
a little leeway,
and then we get into the we don't care at this point. We do not care.
But we're at the point to where we do not care.
Lean with it, rock with it, lean with it. Tell me what's really going on. Okay, I'm back.
So going into the season, I wasn't aware of the dissection of the season. I didn't know that it was going to be separated into the different arcs, like focusing on a different character for each part, right? Because we started off, we had Miss Martian, we had Superboy, because like we said, we're getting into it. Spoilers. Don't come at me because I'm talking about shit now. So Miss Martian and Superboy are getting married. And they're going to Mars, which is Miss Martian's home planet. Or as they call it, Mars. Which I'm guessing is supposed to be the same as Mars, but whatever. So they're going
they're going to Mars. That's what I'm going to say. I am Martian.
But so they're going to get married. And then so they deal with so there's like their own little self-contained storyline. Not that we don't check back on what's going on Earth with the other characters, but for the most part we're focused primarily on Miss Martian and Superboy and what they're doing on Mars. But so we get that whole little storyline. The prince is involved in this like whole scandal thing because the king's dead or somebody else had died, and they're trying to investigate this. So they're still doing like their superhero work while they're still trying to like plan wedding, deal with Megan's like her family issues with her marrying somebody from Earth.
You didn't think there'd be racism on Mars, but
there's a lot of racism on Mars.
Can't go nowhere without this damn racism. God,
but so we get through that. we get through that storyline, and unfortunately, at the end, Connor's killed, and we see the toll that takes on not only Miss Martian but on Garfield, on Beast Boy as well. And that's like the overarching theme of the entire season, just like dealing with the loss of a loved one, dealing with the loss of family, dealing with grief. And it's Beast Boy went through it. I can't say I cried. I can't say I cried.
You know what? Clearly somebody turned their feelings down.
But I felt compassion for Beast Boy because Beast Boy was going through it, and it's like like you were saying, this season did a great job of, and like we talked about those more adult themes, those more serious themes, just all of the different things that they've touched on this season with dealing with loss, dealing with grief, dealing with unhealthy addictions, dealing with failures, dealing with survivor's guilt, dealing with sexuality, dealing with gender identity, dealing with religion, dealing with love, all of this different stuff. And it's like, you wouldn't think that they could fit all of this in one season. And when I first started watching the season, I was like, God, they're like, I feel like they're kind of like bouncing all over the place. But as you get through it and you keep watching it, you see it all come back together. You see it all tie back together. You see that there's a purpose behind everything. And we get through that story, and then we immediately, for the next episode, we jump into Artemis's story. Right? So it's like completely disjointed from what Miss Martian and Beast Boy are going through.
I'm like, what's going on with this shit? Right. Like, I'm not ready to. Okay, I'm here.
But the thing about it is that they framed it because it takes so long to get from Earth to Mars, right? And so while Miss Martian and Beast Boy, of course, Connor's dead, they have to come back home. But so as they're coming back home, there's nothing for us to do with them because they're just on the bioship and they're coming back home. So let's focus on somebody else. So we get to Artemis and her
First
dealing.
Of all, I didn't know the bioship can just
reproduce
reproduce new bioships. I didn't know that either.
But Mama Bioship's like, look, I'm retired, I'm out of the game, but I got a baby. Y'all can have a baby.
Y'all can have a baby. I'm done. I'm good. Like I don't put these miles on. Y'all good.
It's tough. Trade this one and get the newer model.
Which does the same shit.
But no, it's just being able to see like just that, because I wasn't expecting that disconnect. I was like, okay, well, next episode, let me see what's going on, what Miss Martian and what Beast Boy are going to be dealing with. But it's like, nope, hard cut to Artemis and things that she was dealing with. And just talking about like grief and everything, we lost Wally, 2 seasons ago?
That's right.
And we see that I'm
still fucked up.
Still Artemis is still dealing with that loss. And it's like you can see, and I love the way that it's written because you can see exactly how much she loved him. As much as he got on her nerves when they were first introduced in season 1, how much she loved this man, and she was ready to start a family with him, to the point to where now she's sort of in this household with the original Roy Harper and her sister's baby.
Her sister a badass though.
Cheshire is a badass. And it's like dealing with that family dynamic. Just and basically
their father. Oh my God. This
right. Sportsmaster.
He does not care.
No, not at all.
Clearly the taskmaster of the DC.
Right. And the thing around that story arc is just basically saying like, you are not what you were groomed to be, right? You can grow beyond the trauma of your childhood. You can grow beyond the grooming. Somebody's trying to control you. Somebody's trying to control your life, telling you that you'll never succeed. You'll never be good without them. And it shows how
telling people shut up.
Right. And it shows how Artemis was able to break free of that because she had a support system. She had the team, right? So she had everybody behind her. And regardless of, and it's like you say, it's hard to talk about season 4 and not reference the previous seasons. Because you go through season 1 and season 2 when they thought that Artemis was the mole and Artemis was kind of like giving information to the Light or anybody else that was adverse to the Justice League. And even though she was new, nobody really trusted her, they still rallied behind her. They still came to her side. And it's like she grew, she got this family out of it. And so they showed her like, you don't have to be what they wanted you to be. And so how she's trying to kind of go back to Cheshire, to her sister, and be like, look, I got out. You can get out too. It's like, you can be here with your family. Your daughter needs you. You can do this. And Cheshire is just so far gone. It's like, I'm not going to do anything but fail her. I'm not going to put her through that. Not even willing to try. and you can tell that she wants to. You can tell that she's like, it's right there, like it's like just on the surface, but she can't bring herself to do it because she's just too far gone. And going through that whole storyline and dealing with the emotions, and Artemis trying to like convince herself that she can love again and sort of falling for Roy, and that whole like little thing, like it was like and I'm glad like the both of them, it wasn't like an unrequited thing. Like Artemis was like, you know what, I don't think we should do this, but then Roy was like, you know what, it was kind of weird for me too. I didn't want to say anything, but I'm glad like, you know, it's just, we can leave it at how it is. You know, you're my sister-in-law. Well, not that him and Cheshire got married, but you know,
this ain't no This Is Us type of situation. Right. I ain't gonna do you like Jack and the Miguel and
right.
You know me. I cross universes, so
bring This Is Us into the Young Justice universe.
Bring This Is Us into Young Justice. Bring Young Justice into the MCU. Bring the MCU to anywhere I want to fucking be. That's what it is. Sorry.
Another thing that I really enjoyed about the season is that you have all of these different arcs, and you're focusing on a main core member of the team, Miss Martian, Superboy, Artemis, Calder, Aqualad, now Aquaman.
He is. We got a whole different story with Aquaman now.
Yeah.
Aqualad. You've seen his personal relationships and how they changed.
Right.
And how he's trying to find happiness and balance. And it's interesting. And I'm like, you know what story really got me? Rocket.
Yeah.
Rocket has a life outside of her league duties, and it's not like everybody else's. No. And so she's dealing with some personal things that she has to overcome for the betterment of her home life. And it was interesting to see how, dealing with the things that she dealt with in the field, she was able to take those lessons back home and appreciate her home life that much more. Yeah. Do we think that there's a relationship stirring up with what's his name?
Orion?
And Rocket?
I don't think so.
Yeah. Go back and watch that. No, that's something.
I think that's a friendship at most. I don't think that's a relationship.
I think she want to put him in a bubble with her in it and let him just go dark side son on that.
I don't know about that.
You got to watch the show so you can know what we're talking about. See, I'm trying not to spoil it for y'all, but you got to watch the show. If you haven't seen Young Justice Phenoms, like you said, Phenoms, you need to go watch it.
But speaking of, I know we made the joke about This Is Us and bringing bringing in universes into Young Justice.
Do it.
What I do want to talk about is them bringing in Razor, who is a former Red Lantern turned Blue Lantern, now wielding both Lantern rings, blue and red Lantern rings.
Don't fuck with him. Just leave him alone.
But
don't even bring him in the conversation. This dude,
just equal parts of hope and rage, and it's like that's a power. That's a power combination. That's
you say I want both rings. He's like, you got to give me one and get I'll get both of them.
But the thing about it is that Razor has not been introduced before that episode. Razor had not been introduced in Young Justice at all. Razor is a character straight out of the Green Lantern animated series that aired on Cartoon Network, completely disconnected from Young Justice, 100%. But they brought in the character, but they brought in the story. They brought in the actual story because Razor got the Red Lantern ring after his family was killed. He was a Red Lantern. He was going after Hal Jordan and Green Lantern. They ended up having a mutual understanding, and to the point to where Razor was able to give up let go of his rage and get a Blue Lantern ring. He was so hopeful, and he was able to get the Blue Lantern ring. And so they gave him this whole storyline, this additional storyline outside of the Green Lantern animated series, where he's trying to go through the cosmos to find, just what he's hopeful for. And Metron, the asshole that he is, he thinks everything is a fucking experiment. He was like, straight asshole. Like, you sent me on this wild goose chase, for no reason. You knew that there was nothing out there for me, just so you could see how long it takes me to come back and like give up hope. Like, you asshole.
That's some asshole shit. It's like, I knew you was gonna fuck it up.
Right.
Way before you go. I just wanted to see how long it was gonna take you to fuck it up.
Exactly.
I was like, this dude here, nigga say, I want both rings. Now what? And knocked him back on his ass. That shit was so funny when he knocked him in that portal and having whatchamacallit was right there waiting on him. He wasn't expecting that shit. He was like, what the fuck is this? He hit him so hard, guess what he did? He started leaning with it. He started rocking with it. He said, tell me what's really going on. Thanos wish he had a chair like that. I merged universes. I told y'all that.
But no, it's just being able to see, because like I said, the overarching plot or the overarching storyline being Connor's death and how they bring it all back at the end with Connor in the Phantom Zone. And it's just, we got to see how everybody dealt with their grief in their own individual way. And after the events of season 3 and how dealing with Violet or Halo and her trying to come to terms with who she is, because she's a recreated person from Mother Box technology. And so she's in this body, the body of a young girl who was Muslim, but she doesn't know anything about the Muslim faith. So she's trying to understand if that's something that she really wants to do. She wants to figure out if she is really a she, who she's and who she cares for. So much self-discovery for one person. And then again, in going out throughout season 3, you had Cyborg had the same issue, because he's part Mother Box or Father Box, whichever one he was a part of. And he's
cousin box.
But he's dealing with all the different rage and that he had towards his father, because his father was like the reason that he got into the accident and why he is the way that he is. So there's now this mandatory counseling for all the members of the team, given by Black Canary, who is doing a phenomenal job. I don't think she's like a licensed therapist or anything like that. At least not that I know of. I never knew she was a licensed therapist.
She could give me therapy.
But she's really helping out these young superheroes to be able to come to terms with what they're going through, and seeing Garfield's or Beast Boy's journey through grief into
she killed it.
It's like
she killed it with that therapy session.
And shout out to Greg Sipes, who, just like we have Kevin Conroy, is like Kevin Conroy is the voice of Batman. I don't care. I don't care what he does from here on out. I don't care who else takes up the voice of an animated Batman.
I'm sorry.
Kevin Conroy is Batman. And it's in that same way, Greg Sipes is the voice of Beast Boy. Animated, whatever. He's been the voice of Beast Boy in Teen Titans and Teen Titans Go. Now in Young Justice, Greg Sipes, he's the voice of Beast Boy. And the emotion that he gives when he's going through these different, like he's going through the motions, like, he can't sleep. He can't eat. He doesn't want to be a part of the team anymore. He quit his job on the TV show, all this stuff. He's pushing everybody away. That scene where they had the intervention and he was just calling everybody out on their bullshit. I was like, dude, it's like, you want to be mad with them because it's like they're just trying to help you. Why won't you just let them in? And then at the same time, it's like, if you haven't been in that place before, because Black Canary broke it down, because he finally was able to open up in his therapy session. It's like, Brion, I lost him. I should have been there to help him. He, left. I could have saved him. On Mars, I could have saved Connor. And Black Canary was like, could you though? What could you have done? How could you have saved them? He was like, I don't know. I could have did something. And she's like, you can't blame yourself because we can do everything right in life and things will still go wrong, and that's not on you. And if you have not been in that situation before, you haven't been in the situation where you just felt like you're failing everybody around you, then it's like you can't even imagine what it feels like to go through life like, I'm here but they're not. I shouldn't be here because I should have done something. That should have been me. You know, because if Beast Boy would have tried to stop that bomb, he would have been dead for real. Like dead.
Dead. Like dead. Like your batteries in your remote control when you're trying to watch your favorite show. That motherfucker is dead. And you want to change them out, but you don't have any spares, and you got to go to the store. And now you mad because you got to go get batteries. I feel you. I understand your frustration.
Oh my God.
How's that relevant to what we're talking about? Think about it.
It's all good if you don't get it right now.
Right. Like Drake.
like Drake.
Like Drake at new album.
It's all good if you don't get it right now. But no, the last thing I want to touch on, and is going back to the overarching story of Superboy being killed, because of course we find out that he's not dead. He just got transported to the Phantom Zone. Because
I mean, we all know he wasn't dead. It's comics, right? No one dies in comics besides Uncle Ben.
Well, no, you can't say that because in Young Justice there have been deaths.
Again, we talked about this so many times. Let your story play out. If they're gonna die, kill them.
Right, and let them say
that's
that.
The one thing I respected about this, because I was expecting 2-3 episodes later, boom, Superboy's back. I knew he was coming back. Mm-hmm. I just didn't know when he was coming back. And after a couple of episodes, especially when they transitioned, I was like, wait, this motherfucker might be dead for real.
He might be dead. Like, he dead.
Like we mourning him. Like, we're really going through the process of, like, wow, like they might not bring this dude back.
Right.
And Wiley is dead.
Yeah.
Wiley is dead. He's gone. And I'm like, shit, it's getting real over here in DC.
Because they got those statues in the Watchtower. They had one for Wally. They had one for Tala, who was Aqualad's girlfriend, and she died. And they put that one up for Connor. It was like, that's it. That statue goes up. They gone. They're not coming back after that.
Like the great Master P said, you can only die once. Once you dead, ain't no coming back from that. I don't know who was thinking it was anything different, but when Master P said it, I was like,
You're right. But so we see that Superboy has been transported to the Phantom Zone because Phantom Girl, who was from the League of Superheroes, the Legion of Superheroes,
from the future.
Right, from the future. They were watching over Superboy because Superboy in the future inspired the formation of the Legion of Superheroes.
Now, wait a minute. I thought he took like an invasion or something, which, yes, you're right. Yes, he did both. He took out like an invasion. They needed him in the future. Remember, right. Because with Superboy being dead, he wasn't there to be able to do whatever he did to save them. Mm-hmm. So they asked Superman to do it.
Right.
And they said, well, the timeline didn't change. So either he didn't do it or he died.
Right.
Or he, Superman been a real asshole this whole goddamn series. I'm going to be honest with you. The Man of Steel was supposed to step up. I mean, Batman had to walk up to him and be like, yo, dude, this is you. This you right here. This you.
He avoided the hell out of Connor in the first season. Connor's like, listen, I'm your clone. I don't really know how I'm supposed to handle it. Superman was like, oh, let's call it. We just took off.
Let the iron on. Gotta go. He
was like a dad ducking child support. He was like, I ain't got no job.
I ain't got no time to do let your mama do it. Like, Red Tornado got you and Black Canary got you.
Right.
You could call me if you need here's some money. Bye. Like,
exactly.
damn, dude. The dude is really trying to reach out. He's like trying to cope with his existence of being a clone, and he's trying to. His powers coming in, they're not coming in. He can't fly. Like he see you flying. It's like, but I could jump.
Right, I can jump
real
high.
I'm not as strong, so and I think wasn't it like season 1? It's like his body mechanics were breaking down or some shit. Like he had to deal with all of that. He had some shit to deal with, and Superman could have helped him through the process of this, but Superman was a real dick.
And it was, I think it was in season 2 because he ended up turning either 2 or 3. He ended up turning Lex Luthor. Because Lex Luthor had like some super patches for him to put on that amplified his power and everything. He started getting addicted to it. It was like if Superman would have just talked to him.
We all have our addictions, so I can relate. I can relate to Superboy.
But yeah, so dealing with all of that, and then we can see that all of that was still unresolved because he gets to the Phantom Zone. He gets what's called zone sickness, and he's dealing with.
It's what they called it.
Zone madness.
Okay, close enough.
But he's dealing with like his
visions and his hallucinations and
right. And it's just like because his main objective as a clone was to
take Superman ass out.
He was to be a replacement for Superman and to kill him if he turned away from the light. And that was like all the way back when the light was introduced back in season 1 or whatever.
Hey, let me say this though. For the light to be who they are, you would think they wouldn't have to, do the shit that they're doing. Because goddamn,
they have some. I don't know, but Savage is like
damn near older than time.
Yeah, but the thing about it is he's one of those like hands-off type people because he can't be in the spotlight because he's immortal, and I guess he doesn't want people to know about his immortality. And like he hops in and out of the timeline every now and then. I mean, he hopped in long enough to have a daughter, and then like hop back out. And I'm like, all right, I'm gonna just chill. I don't need anybody to know who I am.
I love how they told that story too in the whole thing because it's like you got a storyline. And then it was like how you started to have kids and they were half this and half that. And
that's like what created metahumans.
The lore is so juicy and deep. It's just.
We found out about the origins of Atlantis, like why Atlantis became an underwater civilization and how Atlantis evolved into people who could live underwater because it wasn't always like that.
Dude, listen, if you want a good understanding and storyline of superheroes and want to ask the question, is this show super? Watch Young Justice. Watch Young Justice and watch it from season 1. I know I said this already. I sound repetitive. It's okay. Watch it, comment on it underneath these comments on All Things Super. And let's get into the conversation because even though we're doing this breakdown, this review, this isn't even the tip of the iceberg of what's going on in the show. There's so much going on, and it's so well done, and it's so cleverly done. Like I said, we haven't even gotten into all the characters that's in the show.
Right.
The show breaks down.
Many. We haven't even talked about the whole Zatanna and the bus going through, like all the different scenes. That bus was on a journey.
Right? just the Dr. Fate storyline on how Nabu exists and how Nabu's a dick.
Yeah.
Yeah, I said it. Nabu's a dick. He doesn't want to do shit unless
it serves him.
Exactly.
Unless it serves what I need to do, like I'm not worried about it. I'm not worried about your problems.
Like, how does that benefit me?
Right.
Dude, You're a dick.
But can I tell you my absolute favorite part of the entire season?
Go for it.
My favorite part. We're in the Phantom Zone. We run into General Zod and all of his people. They've been trapped in the Phantom Zone.
We didn't even talk about Zod. God damn, do it, Spider, do it.
Not Zod or Lord Zod, his son. We haven't even touched on that.
We
whole
didn't
part.
even talk about them.
But so Zod and his people have been trapped in the Phantom Zone for over 40 years. They only had a sentence that was supposed to be in there for 10 years, but they don't know anything about Krypton exploding because time works differently in the Phantom Zone. But so Superboy's in there. Zod finds him, kind of like takes him in, like, pledge your loyalty to me. And Superboy in his base programming was like, I pledge my loyalty to this Lord Zod. Phantom Girl wakes up, tries to explain to him, like, look, I tried to save your life. Apparently, I can phase through dimensions. I got stuck in between dimensions when I got knocked out and landed us in the Phantom Zone. I can get us out. I can bring you with me. We can go back home. And Superboy just kind of processing all of this in, but she's like, these people are bad people. And so she was like, don't let them know that I'm awake, because she's supposed to be passed out. And she goes, lays back down, and she's passed, like she's passed out again, and Superboy's standing over her. And so they come back, and one of the Kryptonians like, such loyalty. Like, you stand over her, even though you know she'll never wake. He just turns around, dead face. She's awake right now. And I shut up, and I'm like, this motherfucker.
This dude. I'm like, this dude. This like, dude. Bro, we do not care.
Just like, no chill. She's awake right now. Like, dude, like, that was your chance to get out.
Like, what the fuck? Don't you want to go back to your fiance? Don't you want to see your girl again?
Just like I was talking about with Beast Boy, and just like, it's like I want to be so mad with him, but the way that the story is written is like, it makes nothing but sense. It's like, because we are the viewer, we looking at everything, we know how everything is, we know what we want to happen, and the fact that it's not, it's such great storytelling where you can elicit that kind of emotion out of your viewers, like, and then when the team comes back and tries to get him, and they're like, hey, we can go, all of us are here, we can bring you home, and he doesn't want to go with them. And it's like, dude, it's like, these are your friends. Like, this is your family. Like, you don't owe anything to Zod. And the fact that they brought it all back together, and in that last episode, bringing Miss Martian back, bringing Megan back, and he's like, he doesn't want to go back because he was like, I can't go back, because in his visions, he saw that he killed Superman. He saw that he was going to kill Miss Martian, and he was like, I can't go back because I'm going to hurt her. And for her to be the only one to get through to him, be like, you can never hurt me. And then like, she like showed him his memories. It's like, this is how much you love me. This is how I know you could never hurt me, and I need you to know that you could never hurt me. It was so beautiful. Such a beautiful, such a beautiful like way to bring him back to like this like plane of reality, this existence, bring all his memory back, kind of like show him everything. And I love that they went all the way back to season 1 when he first got brought in with the team and with Aqualad. Yeah, he was an asshole. He pushing everybody away.
There's a lot of assholes. This should be called Young Assholes. There's a lot of assholes on this show.
Look, the title "Young Assholes" might bring a different type of audience that we don't really want in this community. So we just leave it at Young Justice.
Young Justice assholes or Young Asshole Justice? There's a lot of assholes.
I think you just leave asshole out of the title because when you go to Google that, your search results might show up not safe for work.
You might go to jail. I can guarantee you, feds knocking on your door. We like to talk to you about your Google search.
We noticed that you were searching young assholes.
Tell me what's really going on.
But to wrap all of this up, final question, Mr. VIP Frankie Washington, you've already answered it. Young Justice,
I'll answer it again.
Season 4.
Listen.
Super.
Watch this goddamn animation, because if you are really a fan into good storytelling, this is it. I give it. There you go.
All things super class. Certified. Certified super.
That's some pimp shit I learned from. Oh.
Now we're going to do something entirely different.
Young Assholes, season 5, coming to HBO Max. Thank you, HBO. Thank you.
Oh no,
HBO,
I love this. I love the show. Love the show.
Believing in this show and picking it up because again, I was a fan when it was on Cartoon Network, and I didn't understand as a young adult why it got canceled. Because on the other side of the screen, there's a lot of things that we don't know. We're just looking for our show, and when it's not there, we're like, "What the fuck?" So when we seen it was picked up again, I immediately jumped on. Now, here's the thing: cut the check and let these guys get to doing what they do best, which is telling great stories. Right. You guys know that we're huge fans of great storytelling, and if you're gonna do that, we're gonna watch that. And that's all I have to say about that situation.
Couldn't be said better any other way. Absolutely, the show is super. It's 100% super. You just go watch it. Like we said, there's so much.
Binge watch it.
It's all out. The entire season's out on HBO Max. Go watch it. Like we said, there's so many other parts. There's so many other details that we have not even. The whole storyline with Clarion and the Lords of Order versus the Lords of Chaos and that whole balance. Like we said, the whole thing with Vandal Savage, his whole storyline and his family, his background. There's so much more. We briefly touched on the thing on Mars and the conflict that they had there. There's so much more going with that.
Mars.
I'm telling you, it's 26 episodes. Each episode is probably like 20 to 30 minutes long. It does not feel like it doesn't feel like you're slogging through it. It's a great watch.
Great pace.
Go watch it. Watch the post-credit scenes. Watch the mid-credit scenes, I should say, because they're the scenes going on as the credits are running. But watch the mid-credit scenes because they give you those extra little details that are just so relevant, so vital. Yes, absolutely great for world building, great for the lore. But it's absolutely super. It's absolutely super, and I'm loving it. I can't wait for season 5. It's gonna be absolutely crazy. We haven't even talked about the post-credit scene at the end of the show. But you know what? Go watch the show. Watch the show. Watch the final post-credit scene.
If you disagree with us, leave it in the comments. We are more than welcome to have this conversation and tell you that you're wrong.
But absolutely.
If it's not to you, what are you looking for in the show?
Let us know. Let us know what it is. If you found anything wrong with Young Justice season 4, let us know in the comments below. Where did they fall short for you? What didn't you like? All right, but let us know in the comments. And again, if you like this video, go ahead and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button so you can be notified when you hit that bell whenever we have a new episode go up. You can follow us on all major podcast streaming services, and you can tweet at us at ATSuperPod.
This is my favorite time to talk to y'all. I just want y'all to know that. And I need y'all to know I love y'all. I'm getting teary. I'm getting teared up. So I gotta lean with it, rock with it, lean with it, rock with it. Tell me what's really going on. Sorry.
Nothing left to say. There's nothing left to say. I have no words. But thank you everyone for joining us this week. We'll be back next week reviewing Disney Plus series Obi-Wan Kenobi. We'll talk about that show and we'll figure out whether that one is super or not. But until then, we're gonna reserve it for next week.
Come back. I got some shit to say about this nonsense.
But until then, thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you in the next one.